Good evening, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to the final edition, round 10, here in SAFRL Tier 2. We had our season finale already on Monday for Tier 1, but we get to do it one more time. Already some cars getting out on circuit. Austria, one of the shorter tracks on the calendar, so we should be able to get a few runs in here. Shouldn't have any drivers not setting a lap time. One thing they should remember, very easy to invalidate your lap here. And the last place you want to do it is on the last corner. It's going to invalidate the next one too. Of course, if you watched the race on Monday, you would have seen a lot of safety cars, and hopefully tonight we don't get a repeat of that. Hopefully it's a fast flowing race. With the nature of the Austrian circuit, it's far more likely that we have incidents, but hopefully everybody's able to keep it together for the final, well, for one final time. So far, no lap times. Everybody is out on circuit with the exception of Gotzi. Maggot going very slowly, looking to make some space on the circuit for himself. Welsh also out on circuit. Ace of Pace, Pantry Star, Captain Morgan, Spike, Skull, Revolution, Chums, Mr. Rem, all looking for fast laps, all of them on fast laps, as well as Boinkies. Gotzi in the pits, Andre also out on track. Obviously everybody on a set of softs, no need to fool around. Back when F1 had the Q2 rule, we used to see drivers using odd compounds in Q2 because that would be the tyre they started the race on. But F1 got rid of that rule, and now everybody obviously uses the softs. It's a 104.6. That's the first benchmark time we get. 104.6. Ace of Pace 104.9. Pantry Star goes P2. Predictions here in the comment section. I think these lap times are still going to come down somewhat. Top Gun splits the Aston Martins. They were briefly on the front row of the grid. Now it's Welsh Top Gun P2, Pantry Star P3, Ace of Pace P4, and it keeps on changing. Mr. M into provisional pole 104.4. We're getting closer and closer to the 103s, but will we see a 103? It's quite the lap time, a 103. Skull going awfully slowly. Then we have Spikes going around what appears to be the final corner. Goes a little wide there. I hope he's able to hold on to this lap. He is. He goes P6, 104.9. Briefly P6. Immediately demoted to P7 as Duke goes into provisional pole. Time's getting closer and closer to the 103s, but not quite. Gotzi remains in the pits. The other Ferrari, obviously the one stays stationary in the pits. The other Ferrari is Moller. It's out on circuit looking for his first timed lap of the evening, going around the penultimate corner now. He's a little wide. Hope he's able to hold on to that. And he is able to hold on to that. Goes P3, nice lap time, 104.5. And that's just his first run. That was odd for a second. We had a McLaren stationary in the pits. Seems to have sorted itself out. Here is Skull, still looking for that first timed lap. He seems to have already done a few laps on these softs. I think he's been trying to get a valid lap. Just having a bit of a struggle on this first run. The Orange Army support out again. Good to see. Mr. Rem currently in P2 for that Orange Army, 104.4. His teammate down in P11. Here he is, 105.6. So crucial, you want to get yourself up into that top 10. You don't want to start too far back in the race. You don't want to have to rely on safety cars and drama bringing you back into the race. Andre goes over the line, improves the lap time. It's a 104.9. Still behind his teammate. Currently by half a second. Remember Muller, he's on his way back to the pits, I believe. He went up into P3 on the other side of the grid. Another Ferrari powered car, Revolution, currently P14. He's out on a second run, currently a 106.3 is his best lap. This is Duke on an outlap. This is your fastest man of the evening so far, 104.286. Mr. Rem, currently P2, also on an outlap, 104.4. How much more does he have? Here is Moller, 104.5. Seems like he's still got a lot of battery charge. I wonder if he's just gonna keep on doing laps. Definitely a different strategy. Moller almost using this as a bit of a practice session. And somehow that practice session has got him up into P3. Mr. Rem goes around the final corner. Currently in P2 with a 104.4. Is he able to improve position or time? And he's not. He's not able to improve either. Stays on a 104.91. This is Duke. Here we have the Haas driver, currently in P15. That's the last of the timed drivers. And Gotzi will be making a lap time. I think that he's got a ban, if I'm not mistaken. Comes to 106.5. Who else is out on circuit? Boinkies. His teammate up in provisional pole. I'd love to get the car up there onto that front row, join his teammate. But if he is to be believed via the comment section, he hasn't had any practice. How do you think Toto would take that, Boinkies, if you just skipped out on all your simulation time? Boinkies back into the pits. Stays P11. This is Welsh. Look at that, he actually went quicker than Mr. Rem, so he's put himself up into P2. Only just, those times are so close. The times between second and fifth, they're ridiculous. They're a 10. Duke at the front, stays in the pits. Comes out on circuit. Now Moller, they 104.5, but I think he's got a lot more than that. Keep your eyes on the Ferrari. We may have a Ferrari on either side of the grid by the time this is over. All of those drivers, I'd say, within the top 10 still have an opportunity here. 7.5 tenths. These drivers will know if they have 7.5 tenths or not. They'll know what that fast lap was all about, and they'll know if they missed something. So the moment they go out there, they know if they've got 7 tenths, or if they look at that lap time and they say, nope, I don't know where I'm supposed to find that time. Maggot up into P2, a 104.3, oh so close, but not quite. Duke still leads the way, 104.2. And look at that lineup in Tier 2. Couldn't get any closer than that. We have 11 drivers in the 104s. That is impressive. If this translates to race pace in a track where the DRS effect is insane, if this translates to close race pace and DRS trains, we're going to have a very entertaining race. Want everybody to join in this final broadcast of Season 6. Obviously we're going to be going away for a little while, but we will be back. We will be back, I believe, in early April with Season 7. When I have more details on that, I will broadcast it on the channel. But look at this, 104.2 is the time for provisional pole. That driver remains in the pits. Maggot, he's done a 104.3, stays out on track. It's the benefit of the shorter circuits. You get that second go at ERS. If you're at a circuit like Belgium, you're not going to be able to have a second go. Your battery's going to be completely gone. But Maggot stays out on track. 104.3 is his current best. Man looking to improve. Boinkies, 105.4. Wants to get up there closer to his teammate. Captain Morgan, 105.4 as well. Times are so incredibly close. Captain Morgan half a second down on his teammate Spikes in P10. Revolution on an outlap. Doesn't want to be at the bottom of the field. Wants to get a little higher than that. Otherwise he's going to give himself quite the task in the race. Maggot into provisional pole, not a 103 quite, but very nicely done. 104.1 goes just ahead, and now Duke is going to have to emerge from those pits, and he's going to have to find a 10th. Moller, definitely track limits around this circuit, big issue. Especially that final corner. Just run a little wide. In the race it's a problem, but in quali, when you're looking for that quick lap, and you do the lap to perfection, and then you just take too much of that outside curb and lose your lap time and the next, it's quite the punishment. Obviously this circuit in 2023 now holds the record for the most track infringements recorded in an F1 race. It was in the region of 1,200 track infringements during the course of the race. And basically Austria has been told that they have to basically put in much more severe curbs that would disturb the cars, and if they don't put them in within, I think they have to put them in by next year. If they don't put them in, they could lose their grade 1 license. Not only the Red Bull team in all sorts of drama, the Red Bull ring as well. At the front, Maggot 104.1. It's interesting to see Duke has not emerged from the pits. Is he happy with P2? Surely not. We'll see him come out, look for that 103, the only 103 of the evening possibly. Then we have the two Aston Martins on the second row in a good position. Mr. Rem wants to get himself higher up the order, currently P5, Ace of Pace P6. Muller in P7, followed by Top Gun, Skull and Spikes. Those are your top 10. A lot of drivers in the pits, not a lot of time remaining. So I guess we're going to get a very busy racetrack very quickly. Things look quiet now, but I don't think for much longer. Can't see how much time is left in the session because we have a continuous yellow flag in sector 1 and 3. I don't know what that is about. There we go. Just under 2 minutes remaining. So everyone should still have a chance to get out of the pits and have one more go. And now you can see a lot of the drivers have that outlap next to their name. Track getting very busy. We ride it with Welsh. We ride on board with him. He just got quickest. I think he went quickest in sector 2. I think he went purple in sector 2. Let's keep our eyes on this Aston Martin. 2 corners to go, now 1 corner to go. And did he invalidate that? He went a bit wide. Hopefully he's able to hold on to this lap. He's pushing. It's a 104.3. He did improve, but he did not improve his position. And I wonder if that little squirm wide is what cost him possibly pole position. Welsh going slowly. This is Mr. Rem. He's out on a brand new set of softs. He's having one more go. Current best of 104.4. He could still take pole, you know. He just needs to find 3/10. His times are so incredibly close. Top 11 drivers in the 104s. Nobody quite in the 103s. Let's have a look. Where is Maggot, your current pole sitter? Does he have battery life? That should give you an idea if he's on a fast lap or not. Can't really tell. This is Duke. Going to have to find just over a 10th. Muller goes up into P2. Very nicely done at 104.2. And that is close. It pushes Duke down into P3. He's not going to be happy with being pushed off the front row. Surely he's got something to respond with. We'll find out in a few moments from now if he does. Is there anything left in the pocket? Is there anything he left for last? Well, that was the biggest anticlimax I've had in commentary in a while. I was building that up for him to dive into the pits. Then we have Pantry Star here. He's going around the penultimate corner. Is he going to be able to find any sort of an improvement? Currently P5 104.4 does a little weave just before the line, and that is usually a sign of he's not improving. If you think you're going to improve, you're going to keep that car as straight as possible. Boinkies over the line, gets himself into the top 10 at the last moment. Nicely done, 104.8. I don't think anybody else is going to improve. Yeah, I think that is our session. And I can confirm 11 drivers within the 104s. There we go, 7/10 of a second, cover your top 11. Fantastic, fantastic driving. So close. Maggot takes pole position for AlphaTauri, a 104.1. Muller got close, P2. Then we have Duke in P3. They're followed by Ace of Pace, Pantry Star, Mr. Rem, Top Gun, Skull, Boinkies, and Sykes, making up your top 10. Not in the top 10, giving themselves a handful in this race. We've got Andre the second McLaren, he's in P11. It's followed by Chums, Captain Morgan, Revolution in 14, Gotsy 15. And the logo is covering my view. Who's that in 16th? There we go, it's Welsh. Here we go, is everybody now awake? Hope everybody is awake as they're going to be. Qualifying is always fun. It's always fun to get the bragging rights of who's fastest, who's quickest. But when it really comes down to it, it's about the race. And you can be the quickest driver on track and not even win the race. It's a race of chance. It's a race of circumstance. And most of the time, things are completely out of your control. Very, very close, Ian. Just 46 hundredths off your pole prediction. We now obviously wait in the final moments for these guys to finish up with their strategies, what tyres they intend on starting the race, how deep into the race are they going to go, and obviously fuel levels. Are you going to be anticipating safety cars? If we have anything like we had on Monday night, if you don't underfuel, you're going to have a very heavy car. But if you do underfuel and you don't get those safety cars, well, you're going to run into a little bit of trouble. 5 red lights, and we're underway after a little bit of a pause. Maggot is going to lead the way into turn 1. Is Moller going to attempt any sort of a move? No, he doesn't. Stays in P2. The AlphaTauri of Ace of Pace up into P3, so he got past Duke at the start. Then we have the first of the McLarens, P5, Pantry Star P6, followed by Top Gun Skull, Boinkies P9. Spikes has just dropped out of the top 10 and he's got back into the top 10. He's going side by side, trading positions with Chums in the middle of the field, while up at the front here, Maggot, Moller, Ace of Pace, holding station 4 now. Obviously very early stages in the race. Duke has lost another position now. Mr. M up into P4. Does that Mercedes have any sort of damage, or is he just had a loss of momentum? Needs to get back on it. Obviously just losing a few positions at the start of the race. Got to get yourself refocused. Can be a little bit off-putting when you get swallowed up by more than one car in a matter of corners. Obviously that purple doesn't mean too much. That's the first lap of the race. That lap time is going to come down significantly before we get to the end of this. Maggot leads the way. It's only half a second the gap. This is crucial. The closer these gaps can stay, by the time we get to lap 3, DRS will be active and these cars will be able to tow each other around, essentially keeping everybody in a DRS train basically throughout the field. So we could have a very interesting scenario. You look at that, only Revolution is outside of that DRS range. Everybody in the top 15 is within DRS of the car ahead. If Mr. M can just catch up a little bit to Ace of Pace so he doesn't ruin my monologue. But here we have Maggot still leading, 6/10. Gap not growing. That means Moller is able to manage it. He's not letting that car ahead of him run away. Just bringing up your tires situation so you can have a better idea of who's doing what. Looks like most of the field has chosen to go for the medium compound. Then a slightly less favorable option was the hard. Just 5 drivers going on the hard compound. We've had a bit of an incident there. It looks like Moller went sideways. He's dropped a few positions. Luckily no damage to the car. Now he just needs to get going again. Hopefully doesn't get swallowed up in this DRS range. Top Gun very close behind him, just 0.2 of a second. Mr. Rem P3, Ace of Pace P2. We go from a front nose cam to a heli cam. Maggot leads, Ace of Pace P2. That is as a result of Moller falling down the order into P5, but he's not too far down the order. He's still within that DRS train. Anybody in this race can still come back. We mentioned the hards, we mentioned the mediums, we didn't mention the softs. That's because only one driver has chosen to go on the softs, and he's currently making up a few positions. He's just gone up into P9, that is Spikes. Obviously starting towards the rear of the field, and thought, I need to put on some mediums and try and get through this field. Usually the more popular option is, if you're starting at the back, you go on the hard compound and go as deep into the race as possible. But Spikes is looking to have a little bit of fun. Back at the top, it's AlphaTauri. From AlphaTauri, the gap is 1.2 seconds. It'll be interesting if we see these teammates engage in any sort of battle. It is indeed round 10. Drivers' Championship has been decided, as has the Constructors' Championship. So I wonder if these AlphaTauris will just be allowed to race. Oh no, that is... I don't know if I'm supposed to share that information, because if any drivers are listening to this stream, so thanks Ian for the information. Just don't think I should mention it out loud. It may give some of the opponents around him quite the advantage, or too much knowledge. But it would be quite ironic if we went from Monday night record safety cars to Wednesday night no safety cars. But it's only lap 5 of 36, and quite frankly I think I'm being ridiculous. Of course we'll see a safety car. See, I'm trying to do commentator's curse, reverse psychology. Of course there's going to be a safety. If I keep on saying there'll be a safety car, then possibly we'll have a race without any. So let's just try it in reverse. Maggot still leads. Ace of Pace now crucially into the DRS of Maggot, but he's not going to be thinking about that, because he was temporarily passed by Pantry, but Pantry wasn't able to get it stopped sufficiently, and Ace of Pace was able to switch to the inside and take that position back. Pantry briefly losing position to Mr. Rem. Now Mr. Rem going backwards, losing position to Moller as well. There's lots of changes. That's what happens when these gaps are so close. Everyone has DRS, everyone's looking for a pass. And the Red Bull Ring is one for fantastic passes. Just gotta watch Daniel Ricciardo late on the brakes at the Red Bull Ring. As I mentioned on Monday night, luckily for everyone who is driving tonight, we don't use that on the left hand side. On the driver's left hand side, on your right hand side, that chicane that was put in for MotoGP. Done a few laps of it on the MotoGP game, and I can tell you I am not a fan of that chicane, and hopefully it remains the official FIM layout and never becomes the official FIA layout. The FIM can keep those ideas to themselves. Yeah, no, the comms curse is a thing with me, so for the remainder of the broadcast I'm just going to be saying, of course there will be a safety car. Maggot leads the way. Pantry Star now up into P2. He has ruined the perfect AlphaTauri party in round 10. How would AlphaTauri love to go out with a 1-2? We do have 16 drivers in the field. All of them are still driving. Fantastic to see. Some of these drivers will be missing teammates. I think all of those, everyone there in the top 10 should have a teammate. I think we're missing an Alpine. Probably missing a few other cars. We're missing an Alpine, we're missing a Haas, we're missing a Red Bull, and I think we're missing an Alfa Romeo. Everybody else has a teammate. And I think any one of those teams would love a double podium or a 1-2. That would be even better. What a way to go out in the season. And then it's quite the statement to make for next season. Watch out for me. I just won round 10. Maggot taking just enough of that outside of the racetrack, using all of the racetrack. We haven't seen any penalties yet. So far so good. First penalty we saw in tier 1, I think was on lap 3 or 4. Very easy to rack up the penalties here. Track is wide. It has ample tarred runoff, and sometimes you just take a little bit too much road, thinking you can gain a 10th, and then it lands up costing you 3 seconds, not tenths. Pantry Star in P2, he was able to get past one of the AlphaTauris. Now he's not really catching Maggot for the time being. He is now in DRS, so that situation could change. And then we could see the Aston Martin coming to the front of the field. Getting closer and closer, look at that. Just for confirmation of your Drivers' Championship. This championship is over, and the man you were just looking at, Pantry Star, that is your Season 6 champion, 173 points. What a great season he's had. So he's already champion. That's not enough. Wants to win round 10. Extend that lead even further. Rub it in. And let everybody know that when Season 7 comes around, he's going to be there to defend it. It's not, I've got the points, I've won the championship, I'm going to let the guys go easy. No, no, no. He's racing to the end. And now he's very much within DRS. Look at that, 0.4 of a second. Will he be close enough this time? Depends how much battery does he have. How much battery does Maggot have to defend? That is the one thing you have to defend yourself from DRS. The problem is, at some point, it runs out. And Pantry Star making no fuss, making it look easy. Pantry Star up into the lead, and is he going to be able to run away? It's crucial now for these AlphaTauris to stay within DRS of that Aston Martin. If that Aston Martin is going to continue to show this sort of pace and he's able to get out of DRS, then surely a gap will start to form, and your Season 6 champion will continue his dominance. A little further back, these two drivers were in very different situations when it came to qualifying. Now they're line astern. Well, if you count the 5-second gap between them, but the one Mercedes in P6, the other Mercedes in P7. So both of them comfortably in the points. Mr. Rem, the only McLaren in the points. That'll be a little disappointing for the Orange Army. Some good news for the Orange Army. Andre's just made up a position. He gets past the Haas of Chums, goes up into P11, getting closer and closer to the points. And then just a look at that Constructors' Championship for Season 6. And quite the easy win for McLaren. 261 points, an unassailable lead going into the final round. So Drivers' Championship, Constructors' Championship, all decided in round 9. But we're having one last go. Maggot still leads. Pantry Star P2. Maggot actually got back in front of Pantry Star, and I didn't see that, but Maggot leads. Pantry Star P2. Mr. Rem, he's now up into P3. The McLaren's on the move. Ace of Pace losing positions. What is going on? Mr. M now into P5. I'm not sure who's where. Moller's now up into P3. I don't know what happened there. Just insanity. Moller now into P3, but he's got all sorts of problems. If he looks into his mirrors, he's going to see a bunch of cars going every which way just to let him know that they're there. Keep the pressure on him. He's leading a DRS train, and when you're in a DRS train, that's probably the worst place to be, is leading it. Because if you're leading a DRS train, that means you're the only one without DRS. And when your battery gets flat, well, then you're a sitting duck, and you usually get swallowed by the DRS train that followed you. Can be quite unnerving. So far so good. Lap 14 of 36. Few of these drivers, I have no idea who, but in a theoretical situation, a few of these drivers may have underfueled in anticipation of major safety car conditions as we had on Monday. But so far, we're on lap 14 of 36. And surely there won't be a safety car. But this could run into trouble for anyone who is underfueled. And if you were taking Monday as an example, where we had 3 or 4 safety cars, I forget how many there were 3 or 4. If you're underfueling for one safety car, you could probably do a bit of fuel management and sort that out quickly. But if you're underfueling, anticipating 3 or 4 safety cars, you could come into serious trouble, and you'd have to start that fuel management a lot earlier than you'd like to. Very easy to burn the fuel when you're trying to save some. Ooh, and we've caught that. Looks like Maggot. Pantry Star going back up into the lead. These two switching places, trading places, but now Maggot is outside of DRS. And that's going to be crucial if Pantry Star is able now to get up the road. Moller also out of DRS of P2, so these cars just starting to spread apart. But the gap's still so close. Biggest gap in the field, with the exception of Revolution, who's driving around at the back, is 11 seconds. And that's between Top Gun and Andre. But Andre has made a pit stop. And if I'm not mistaken, and I don't think I am, he was the first driver to make a pit stop. Oh, there we go, some other drivers also made a pit stop. Spikes, Top Gun, Andre and Revolution. That explains why they are the 4 cars at the back of the field. They are the 4 cars to have made a pit stop. And now some more cars coming into the pits. Duke in the pits, Ace of Pace in the pits. But for the meantime, Pantry Star stays out on his mediums. 15 laps old now, the mediums. Wonder how much further he's going to be taking it. Anyone in the comment section, let me know, what do you recommend? If you were in the cockpit right now, what would you be comfortable with? Taking those mediums, how far? Taking those hards, how far? What is your prediction? Have the guys that have stopped, are they looking to go to the end? What do you think's going on? Let me know. We've got some very fast drivers in the comment section, and they should be able to tell me, well, they should be able to give me the information that I can give you a lot better than anything I can come up with. I think my best lap around this track is somewhere in the high 105s, so let's not talk about that. They'd have to make a tier 5 for me. Pantry Star still out front. Maggot still in P2. He's had a strong race so far, but now that gap just starting to open up as we predicted. Once you get out of DRS, it's a lot easier just to start opening up that gap gradually. If you've got a tenth or two over your opponent, you can just gradually get away, where DRS can sometimes just cancel that gain, cancel that advantage, and you find yourself towing a driver around for far longer than you would like to. Maggot holding station in P2, Moller P4. Boinky's having a strong race for someone who suggested that he had no preparation. He's up into P5, then Welsh P6, Skull P7, Captain Morgan P8, Gotsy P9, and Ace of Pace making up the top 10, saying 16 laps. Well, Pantry Star going for some more, Maggot going for some more. Those two medium runners, they've stayed out for 17 laps now. Moller also staying out 17, and Skull. So those are your 4 medium runners that have stayed out the longest. Everybody else has gone in, converted to the hard compound. What about Top Gun? Top Gun is on a set of hards, but they're 10 laps old, so I'm sure he's going to have to pit before the end of this, as will Chums. Remember, Chums started on the hard, so he was using the opposing strategy. Panda says that Boinkies, you're lying. He's probably been practicing for hours, if not weeks, from completely consumed by the Austrian race circuit. And then he comes in here saying, oh, I don't know guys, I probably shouldn't even be here, I've done no preparation. And then he finds himself up in P5, so I find that hard to believe. We didn't see his pace in qualifying, but that is a term known as sandbagging. And Mercedes have been guilty of that in the past. Andre sets the fastest lap of the race. Where is Andre? He's down in P12. He's on a fresh set of mediums, I believe, looking to go to the end possibly. Would be quite the stretch. Pantry Star, gap 1 second now. Surely he's going to come into the pits. He does come into the pits. Maggot, on the other hand, decides to stay out. And did he make the right choice? Who made the right choice? Is it going to be the overcut? Is it going to be the undercut? And I wonder if, well, this is going to be a very close call. I wonder if Maggot just waited 1 lap too late. Just didn't respond to the driver in front of him diving into the pits. Maybe he'd already committed to that final corner and just decided, no, I'll have one more go. One benefit he might have is the longer you take these tyres, well, the fresher your tyres are going to be at the end. So while he may give up half a second or a second over here, he should have a little bit of tyre advantage towards the end. It's lap 20 of 36. And Maggot, what does he do? He stays out. It's going to be 20 laps on the medium compound. And he's taken this medium compound further than anybody has tonight. Duke, P2, Ace of Pace, P3, Spikes, P4, Pantry Star, P5. So 4 of the cars in the top 5 are on the hard compound. Maggot is out front. But as you can see, those gaps are still really close together, and if you spend 20 seconds plus minus in the pits, well, Maggot's going to come out pretty far in that middle order. He's going to lose quite a few positions. I wonder if he's just losing a bit of time now, staying out too long on the mediums. How much longer will he stay out? Definitely will have some sort of tyre advantage towards the end. His second set of tyres will have a lot less running than everyone else around him, but now he does dive into the pits. He did 20 laps on those mediums, took them as far as he could. Maybe now just starting to see the timing sheets not working in his favour. Choosing to dive into the pits. This is Duke. Goes now into the lead. Ace of Pace, P2. Pantry Star. He's had a strong race. He's been at the front. And now he could very well be in a very strong position. It's going to be all about how he's able to defend from the likes of Maggot coming through the field on a soft compound of tyre. I wonder, is he going to have to manage that soft compound, or is that soft compound going to get to the end of the race easily? We will find out as the race progresses, but he's 1.7 seconds behind the Williams. Let's keep our eyes on this gap. Let's see how much of an advantage this man here is able to get from that soft compound. Look at that gap to Spikes, 1.3 seconds. Let's see what we can do as we go down the main straight. Not going to be in DRS quite yet. Very close, 1.1 seconds. He will get a little bit of slipstream. That'll bring him even closer. 1.2 seconds. As soon as that gets within DRS, he will catch that Williams. Spikes will be the next target of the only man on track using a soft set of tyres right now. You were right, he only was aiming for the softs. I just read your message a little late. I just wonder, is that maybe a lap or two too many for the softs? Or do you guys think should be comfortable? It's a short racetrack. You can see it's a short racetrack. By the number of laps, 36 laps in a 50% race, it's on the high side. Spikes, except a 3-second penalty, that's not going to help him at all. And now, that's not going to help him either. Maggot gets past, makes up the first position on his way to the top. Or at least that will be his plan. Currently now up into P6. And his next target, unfortunately, is quite far up the road. He's 4.5 seconds up the road. But for Maggot, he'll see it as an opportunity to get some clean air. Put some fast lap times on that soft compound, throw the car around, do some quali laps. And if he's able to get himself up to the top 5, those gaps are a lot closer. He could get himself up onto the podium quite easily. Something we haven't spoken about in quite some time is the penalties column. So, oh, there we go. My reverse commentator's curse has not worked. We're under safety car on lap 24 of 36, and what will this do to the race? Now Ian, your predictions. You've just typed them in, you've just sent them, but well, you're going to have to make a few changes, because what happens now? Does everyone just stay out, hold track position? Are we going to see a handful of pit stops? And some crazy changes in the midfield? Safety car has now really thrown a spanner in the works. And if you were at the front and your strategy was going perfectly, well, this just hurts. Sure, this was not in Maggot's plans, and now he also has a 3-second time penalty next to his name, so that's just going to make things even more difficult, because not only do you have to get all the way to the front if you want to win, now he's got to get all the way to the front and have a minimum of a 3-second gap if he intends the result to stay that way. So Maggot just made his job 3 seconds more difficult. And when you have a field this close, 3 seconds is a lot of time to find. Seems like everyone here in the top 3 is remaining out, but keep our eyes on this field. Doesn't seem like anybody's going into the pits, trying something new. I think everyone's just going to stay out on track. Everyone has relatively fresh tyres, and if nobody has damage, they'll all just stay out. So we are under safety conditions on lap 26 of 36. This could help anyone who's on the soft tyre. Obviously, if they were worried about stretching that soft tyre to the end, now that soft tyre should make it quite easily. Look at that, we have a few runners on softs, so the safety car really did switch things up. Now we have Duke on a set of softs, Ace of Pace, Andre, Skull, Top Gun. Some very quick drivers on a brand new set of softs. While the guys at the front, the top 4 at least, they're all on 6-lap old tyres. Pantry Star and Moller, they're on the hard compound. Mr. Rem and Boinkies, they're on the medium compound. So I wonder, is Pantry Star, is Moller, are they going to be able to hold on to those podium positions with all those soft runners behind them? Not so long ago, Maggot had the only set of softs on circuit and was looking to come through the field and maybe give us a spectacular end. But now we've got a lot more than that. We've got 5 drivers out on circuit with a brand new set of softs, and they're all going to be looking to do exactly that. They want to come through the field, finish as high as they can. We're going to have, what is that, 9 laps to the end. Guys need to enjoy it. 9 more laps of season 6. Let's get it done right. Safety car came out just to bring the field together, make sure we have a tight finish. Maggot, P7, he's now behind his teammate, which is against the run of play this evening. Duke, just behind his teammate, who has had absolutely no preparation for this race in no way, shape or form, as far as I was informed. Muller, P3, Pantry Star, P2, and Mr. Rem still leading the way, and crucially leading comfortably outside of DRS right now, 1.2 seconds, and he wants to make sure it stays on that side of 1 second. As for the second McLaren, if you're one of the Orange Army fans, he's up into the points. And he's about to go from 1 point to 2 points, is he? No, he's not. Thought he was going to get past the Williams there, but just decided better of it. Still a few laps to go in this race. He's got a soft compound. He knows he's got the superior tyre to the cars in front of him. And no need to do anything silly. He's going to have the superior traction corner after corner. And it's going to be a matter of time before that Williams finds that it can no longer defend from a car that is clearly quicker. Mr. Rem leads the way. Ian pointing out that obviously Mr. Rem's on that medium compound. His two nearest competitors, they're on the hard compound, so right now he's going to have the superior grip. Those mediums will still have quite a bit of life in them. We've seen someone take them to 20 laps, so we're at about half of that, 9 laps. They've got a lot of life in those mediums. They're far from falling off, and that's when the benefit of the hard comes in. It's when those softer compounds start to fall off. But if the softer compounds are still fresh, well, then you don't get any of that advantage. Oh, we're going to have some sort of a collision, or they're going to get through the corner. They get through the corner, but we have a caution. And immediately my eyes look to the minimap, and luckily I don't see what I thought I may have seen. Moller up the inside of your season 6 champion, and now Duke follows suit. And Mr. Rem will be loving this. He won't be too aware of what's happening behind him, but he will be aware of that timing screen. And he'll see that lead growing, 1.6 seconds, getting more and more comfortable as the tarmac runs out for his opponents to catch him. Moller makes his life a little bit more difficult, adds to the penalty column. Let's have a look at those penalties. Moller now 3 seconds. His nearest opponent, Duke, also on 3 seconds. So that effectively cancels each other out. Problem for some of these drivers is they're going to go over the line, they're going to get the checkered flag, they're going to be like, oh, I'm so happy with this position, and then suddenly they're going to drop 2, 3, 4 positions, who knows. We had a late safety car, so the gaps are relatively close. And if you've been able to rack up the likes of 6 or 9 penalties like we've seen in the past, things could get very messy. Has anybody brought up that amount of penalties? Just the one driver spikes up to 6 seconds, and that will definitely hurt him. If you, well, I think that'll take him all the way down to P14 if I'm not mistaken, if things ended right now. From P9 to P14, he would actually trade places with his teammate. We missed that, but Moller, disposing of ace of pace, knows what he needs to do. He needs to catch up with that McLaren in front of him, but now his biggest issue is he has a 3-second penalty. Well, he's got 2 issues. Number one, he's got a pretty long DRS train behind him. I'm going to say it's pretty long because it stretches from P2 to P10. So that's one of his problems. The other problem is Mr. Rem is on the move and Moller has the wrong tyre. Ooh, we've had a, what was that? There we go, that was Captain Morgan losing it completely on the exit and shuddering into, well, the pit wall. Where is Captain Morgan? Surely no damage. Well, that looked pretty abrupt. I don't know, maybe that was just an internet spike. I do apologize to the driver if that was the case. Don't want to comment badly on your driving when you just took the corner perfectly and I'm commentating on completely the wrong thing. But to the viewers at home, they would have seen the same thing, and that clearly looked like a car suddenly went into the wall. Rem leading the way. Duke is right there with him. Half a second. This tyre situation will be crucial. Remember, Duke P2, he's got the fastest compound. How much longer can the McLaren hold station? It's not going to be for much longer because that Mercedes has DRS and he's all over the back of the McLaren. Mercedes power versus Mercedes power for the lead of this race. And now Duke, does he get it done? He's going to go around the outside. Yes, he does. Thought he wasn't going to get it stopped for a second there, but he does get it stopped. He's got the superior tyre, he's going to have the superior grip, he's going to have, well, everything he wants right now. Every time he exits a corner, he's going to get better traction than the driver behind him. He's going to have all the benefits. And if we take a serious drop off the ball by the Mercedes driver to actually lose this race, he's in a perfect position. The next driver we should keep our eyes on a set of softs with no penalties next to his name. Ace of Pace. In fact, things were to end right now. I believe Ace of Pace would be in P2. Keep your eyes on this car, and the closer he can get, the closer he can make these gaps, the better it is for him. Crucially up the road, Mr. M has no penalties. If Mr. M also had a 3-second penalty, well then Ace of Pace could win this race from P4. Crucially, McLaren driver does not. Now Duke will be in the lead of the race. He'll be really happy with the lead of the race. But his next target is he has a 3-second penalty. It's a big one. Especially around a circuit like this, it's short, there isn't a lot of time to find, and the competitors are so close. In order to find 3 seconds, it's not something you do in just a lap. As you can see, crucial, Mr. M just falling out of DRS now, and he'll be cursing himself for that. You want to stay in DRS for as long as possible. The longer you're in DRS, the longer you get that tow from the car in front of you, just makes your life a little easier. He's going to have to use his battery as much as he can, drain it as much as he can, get as close to Duke as he possibly can. This isn't about passing Duke, it's about staying as close as he can to Duke, because he has no penalties. Another thing that will be playing on his mind is that on the right hand side, there's a car there. There's a car on the right hand side. Ace of Pace coming under all sorts of pressure. Mr. Rem, 1.6 seconds. He's going to be able to hold on. He's fallen out of DRS. He was able to maintain that gap while he was in DRS. We saw him fall out of DRS on the final corner of the last lap. That gap was just over a second. Now it's 1.8 seconds. And you can see how quickly that effect of falling out of DRS can do. But Duke, what have you done? Duke, what have you done? Duke was in prime position. He had that 3-second gap, needed to win the race by 3 seconds, remember, and he was well on his way to that target. 2.3 seconds is the gap. Still sector 2 and 3 to go, but he's just gone. He decided to add 3 seconds to that 3-second problem that he already had. So now he has a 6-second problem. And if my maths is correct, he's going to finish quite far down the order. And my maths isn't correct, because I didn't give you a number. I have no idea. I just looked at those times and went, no, not going to try. I think it could potentially put him down as low as 6th or 7th. So Duke will be happy in the moment. As he goes over the line, he'll be thrilled. Ooh! And that is probably the worst commentator's curse I think I've ever had. And I have commentated on, well, on this channel. This channel's brand new, and this channel's got 40 videos already. But wow, that is unfortunate. He was leading the race, and around the final corner, was that on purpose? Was he annoyed about his penalties? Or did he just lose it? Because if he just lost it, he must be... Well, I'm sure his headphones have found their way to the other side of the room. If he has headphones. Hopefully he doesn't. I don't know, Ian, let me know. Do you think that was, I'm annoyed about these penalties, I'm going to drive into the wall? Or did he just lose it on the final corner? I've in fact done that around China. I was on my way to my first ever race victory, and decided to do a little bit of a weave around the final corner in China, and I crashed into the pit wall. It was not great. There are your podium finishes. Wouldn't it be a great sight to see that podium in Formula 1? McLaren, an RB, no longer an AlphaTauri. And then obviously the Aston Martin, your Season 6 champion, finishing it off in P3. So let's just go through your list one final time. In Season 6, Tier 2, Mr. Rem taking the final victory of the season. Ace of Pace P2, chased him till the end. Pantry Star P3, Moller P4, Boinkies, followed by Welsh, Top Gun, Morgan, Spikes, and Chums, taking the final point of the final round of Season 6. Going home empty-handed with no points on the night. Webskull P11, Andre P12, Maggot 13 after showing some incredible pace earlier on, Gutsy 14, Duke finished off in 15, but wow, what an unfortunate end that was. And if that was commentator's curse, well, that's the worst one I've ever had. Wow. And started with 16, ended with 15. It's a pretty good run. Just the one retirement, that was Revolution. Did trigger a safety car, but what a season it's been. We had Tier 1 Season 6, we're now finished with Tier 2 Season 6, and we're going to go away for a little while, but obviously, like I said earlier, we'll be back in about 2 weeks, something like that. And of course, if you're a fan of the channel, I do stream other leagues, so channel won't go dead for 2 weeks. We're still going to be having races on the channel, and I hope to see a lot of these familiar names in the comment section as we go. And yeah, and remember, join us tomorrow. We're going to be back for DRS, and then on Saturday afternoon, going into Saturday night, we're going to have the Sim Racing World Cup on this channel. All the Team South Africa races. First race will be up against Belgium at 6 o'clock. Then at Hungary. Then we go up against Hungary at 7:15. And then I think at 8:15 is the final round against Argentina. So join us on Saturday. That's going to be a big one. But before that, we'll be back tomorrow. Join us then. Thank you very much. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Share the video with your friends far and wide. Help grow the channel, help grow the league. And we'll be back tomorrow. And we'll be back with SAFRL